Hi, today we are going to see what is postmodern literature. Before getting into literature, let us define the terms modernism and postmodernism. There are some similarities and differences between modernism and postmodernism. What is modernism? Modernism is an ideology which began in the 1890 until 1945. Modernism was based on using rational, logical means to gain knowledge. It was characterized by a hierarchical and organized, determinate nature of knowledge. Modernist approach was objective, theoretical, and analytic. Among the poets of modern era, Ezra Pound's injection, Make It New, was the touchstone of modernism. Then, what is postmodernism? Postmodernism began after World War II. It denied the application of logical thinking. Remember, whereas modernism finds logical thinking as a way to gain knowledge, whereas postmodernism completely denies the application of logical thinking in every way of analysis. It was based on an anarchical, non totalized, and indeterminate state of knowledge. It was an approach which was based on subjectivity. Therefore, it rejects what is described in grand narratives and ideologies as it denies all kind of economic cultural power. Next, we could see what is postmodern literature. Postmodern literature is a literature which relies heavily on techniques such as fragmentation, paradox, and questionable narrators, and is often defined as a style or trend which emerged in the post World War II era. Postmodern literature is seen as a reaction against Enlightenment thinking and modernist approaches to literature. There are few popular postmodern literatures which include Catch 2022, Catch 2022 by Joseph Heller, Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon, Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse by Kurt Vonnegut, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And here is the reflections part. Yes, it is a false statement because Ezra Pound's Make It New was the touchstone of modernism. Yes. Next, this picture clearly elucidates how there is a transformation or transition from pre-modern to modern and modern to postmodern era. And in the pre-modern era, universal and eternal principles existed which were ordained by God. Therefore, there is a God centric, logocentric, universal truth which can be attained only through religious faith. Therefore, there is a relationship between human to God. In the modernist principles, we could find there is a concern towards human being. Therefore, the human being is at the center, questioning the very existence of God Himself. It concerns with high capitalism controlled by social organizations as a product of industrialization with a relationship between human and human. In postmodern era, you could find there was a rejection of modernist convictions about fundamental knowledge, individual autonomy, and control. The postmodern philosophers like Jacques Derrida deconstructed the grand narratives and proclaimed there is no center and there are multiple truths. Therefore, there is the catchword no text is an island. There are only meta narratives. There is no center at all. Every center is deconstructed in postmodernism. Postmodern techniques. We could see some of the popular techniques which can be seen in the postmodern literature. The caption "Little Words, Big Ideas" might remind you some of the haikus you have read. Yes, you could convey a big idea through little words also. We have already seen some of the characteristics of postmodern literatures in which you could find some irony, satire in the form of black humor. Therefore, serious things will be narrated in a playful way. You could see so many examples in the works of Joseph Heller and Kat Vonnegut. And next, the most important um, postmodern technique is intertextuality. That's why I have quoted no text is an island. Yes, there will be a reference of one or other literary works in one of the prominent works. It may be considered as an extended discussion of a work or it may adapt the style. Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose takes on the form of a detective novel and makes references to authors such as Aristotle, Conan Doyle, and Borges. You could see nowadays in so many songs or movies the reference of Tirukural or Bharadiyar's poems. It is also a kind of intertextuality. And in postmodern literature, there will be more references of those works of others. Next technique is pastiche. The word itself says that it is a collection or multiple elements, a combination of multiple elements that are pasted together. It is a representation of chaotic, pluralistic, or information drenched aspects of postmodern society. The best example is B.S. Johnson's novel, The Unfortunates. Remember, this is a wonderful one. If you could imagine, the text novel was published in a form of a box which contains flashcards like things printed in a flashcard. The readers can assemble them and find their own meaning. Therefore, it proclaims that there is no one meaning for any text. There are pluralities of meaning. And then we have metafiction. From the word itself, you could find that meta means beyond fiction. How the fiction is narrated, how the fiction is formulated. It questions, it parodies, or it is a critic of its own medium, how the fiction is written by the writer, which can be undermined. It undermines the authority of the author himself because it disregards the necessity for willing suspension of disbelief. It narrates how the fiction is created in the fiction itself. The best example is Ian McEwan's Atonement. There will be some narrative shifts to advance the story in a unique way for emotional distance or to comment the act of storytelling. It is a kind of storytelling also. In Ian McEwan's Atonement, the writer himself placed a writer inside the fiction and it was revealed only at the end of the epilogue. The next technique is minimalism and maximalism. Minimalism is all about making things neat, tidy, and low key. The most basic and necessary pieces are specified by economical usage of words. The minimalist authors hesitate to use adjectives, adverbs, or meaningless details. And maximalism, it is completely against the grain. It embraces the excess. If an author is making loads of references to other texts and to itself as a text, then it is maximalism. Next, we have historiographic metafiction. It is a term coined by Linda Hutcheon. This is the most important term in neo historicism also. You might have remember what is neo historicism. Textuality of the history, historicity of the text. Yes. historiographic metafiction fictionalizes the actual historical events or figures. Then, historical events or the history of the nation is related to the life of the individual. This you can say in Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, where the individual's life is narrated in parallel to the history of the nation. Here is your reflection part 2. Next we have magic realism. From the term itself you could find that there is a combination or fusion of magic and realism. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It is the most recent trend which is followed in our Tamil industry also. It, in magic realism, the literary work is marked by the use of still sharply defined, smoothly pointed images of figures and objects depicted in a surrealistic manner. For example, the fantasy or the supernatural elements are presented as it is in a natural way. The themes and subjects are often imaginary, somewhat outlandish and fantastic, and with a certain dreamlike quality. But the audience couldn't find that it is like a dream. They could find some realistic manner in it. Once again, I quote from the example Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children. There you could find the narrator could talk to all the children who are born during the independence of India. This is the most important aspect of the narrator in the fiction. Yes, the you can also see so many things in movies also. For example, recently we have a Oh My Kadavali movie in which we could find the hero can have the second chance after meeting a godlike figure or a demigod. Like that, you could accept what is happening in a in one's life, which is completely supernatural. Then we have temporal distortion. From the term itself, you could easily identify that it is the non-linear narration. Yes, uh, it is the thing which have been already tested by Dr. Kadir in the movie 12B. But in that era, it was completely utter failure because no one could understand what is told by the director. But he could find the characters existing in two different worlds, but the experiences of the character will be completely different one. Here also in Robert Hoover's The Babysitter, multiple events are happening simultaneously. In one section, the babysitter is murdered, while in another section, nothing happens to the babysitter. Therefore, both the versions are correct. It is in the hands of the audience or the readers to choose which version he or she prefers. And these are the recent techniques which are being followed in postmodern literature or any kind of postmodern art. And I hope you all can understand. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you.